I was doing this during the commercial break. See, you're lucky you had commercials. You could have had 3 minutes of me doing that. My first guest tonight is an icon. Her new book is an autobiography. It's called Home, a memoir of my... Memoire? Yes, I'm European. A memoir of my early years. It's #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Yes, #1. Numero uno. #1. Please welcome the adorable icon that is Julie Andrews. Happy to see you. Look at that. They're very happy to see you, Julie, as am I.
Thank you.
How lovely to see you again. We saw, well, I met you at one of these Hollywood things a while back.
A long time back.
Yeah. Could you go to a lot of these things?
Yeah, enough.
Really?
Yeah.
No. You're a bit of an icon. Did people kind of pussyfoot around you a little bit? There's lots of kissing up, I noticed.
No.
Yes, there is. I was kissing up to you. I was like,
What about you?
No,
They don't?
No, not at all.
See.
It's like, oh, look, it's the guy that was on The Nanny. Yeah.
Speaking of nannies...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes,
you were slightly putting down nannies a little bit.
Well, not so much. I was saying that not all nannies are as lovely as Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins was a lovely nanny.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I love Mary Poppins. I do.
To have had retribution or something. You know?
No, absolutely not. I love Mary Poppins. I watch it again now with my son.
Well, yes, it's a very good babysitter, isn't it?
Yes. I watch that kid. Daddy's going for a nap time. Watch that. But when you were shooting that movie, did you shoot the movie in England?
No, shot it here on the Disney
because I wonder,
lot. Yeah.
because you are English, of course.
Yeah, I certainly am.
And did anyone mention at the time to Dick Van Dyke, you know, the accent?
I think Dick mentioned it to himself.
Oh, he knew.
Yes,
he knew.
Yes.
Because I had never heard any English people before that time, so I thought English people sounded a bit like, oh, Mary Poppins, like that. When I heard a real English person, I was like, oh, how charming. Yeah.
I get your point.
Yeah. It's a lovely film, though. It is a lovely film.
You.
Now, what's interesting about your book is, though, it stops at Mary Poppins.
At Mary Poppins, it does.
Because what do you concentrate more on in this book? By the way, I love this photograph. Isn't that nice?
Thanks.
Isn't that lovely?
It was taken sometime in my youth.
A sweetie pie.
I kind of ended the book there because I think after... nobody really knows... What I wanted to write was a tiny portion of theatre history that perhaps not too many people know about.
Well, you were brought up kind of in the theatre,
I was brought up in English music hall in Vaudeville, and
I did a bit of that towards the...
Did you?
Well, a little bit. I mean, a lot of the guys I worked with very early on were guys who had, you know, grown up through that time.
And honestly, Craig, I feel that you know everything about vaudeville.
Well, a lot of the material I use is from vaudeville.
Yes,
it's,
you know, it's... No, it's wonderful, though.
Well,
because it's a special kind of humour. And
did you ever know a guy called Dennis Critchley?
No.
Dennis worked with, I think he worked with Max Wall at the Hackney Empire.
I worked with Max Wall.
Right, Max Wall used to do the funny walk and all that.
Professor Wolofsky was his main character.
Yeah, and that was, Mick Jagger ripped that completely off and began... Kind of, didn't he?
I never put those two together at all.
No, that, I think, is what happened.
Yeah.
But Dennis Critchley used to work the Hackney Empire. And
I've worked the Hackney Empire.
The Hackney Empire in the East End of London was a theatre where, during the Blitz of London, they were dropping bombs and the comedians kept going.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of what it feels like to work here someday. And your stepfather was Ted Andrews, right?
That's right.
He was a
tenor, and he and my mum had a kind of drawing room act where they started off with light opera, and then they went into ballads, and then they went into sort of popular songs of the day, and he played the guitar a bit Presley-like, and
then you came out and
when I was about 8 or 9, I started joining their act because I had this freak voice of like 4 octaves, you know, and sort of dogs for miles around would howl when I went that high, you know. And So I joined the act, and then eventually we became a threesome, and then I went out on my own after that, all over England.
And did you ever work with people like Peter Sellers and these people around Spike Milligan?
Yes, and Tony Hancock. And
Tony Hancock's a very interesting figure, wasn't he? He was very tragic, very funny comedian.
I did a lot of English pantomimes, which I don't think many Americans know what English pantomime is.
Well, stay with us, America.
Here's what we're going to do. 2 hours to explain it,
It's hard to explain. Basically, it's a lot of men dressing up as ladies.
Right.
And,
a lot of ladies dressing up as men.
And catchphrases.
Yes.
This show actually is a pantomime. That's really what it is. It kind of is, isn't it, in a way? I mean, it's very old-fashioned, retro, English, Scottish music hall humour.
I played a lot of places in Scotland.
Did you really? Where did you play?
I played Edinburgh, Glasgow, Aberdeen.
Where did you play in Glasgow? I'm from there.
Oh, is it the Princess Theatre?
The Pavilion Theatre and the King's Theatre, and there was the Empire.
Oh, Empire. It must have been Glasgow.
Yeah, the Empire.
But Second House Saturday night, Glasgow was rowdy.
Yeah, they actually had to knock it down while the second house was in.
I can imagine.
Oh, no, it was
notorious.
Legendary.
Yeah.
There was a guy there, an English comedian, Des O'Connor.
Yes, I know him.
He was out there doing the second show on a Saturday night, and it was so bad he pretended to faint. He admits it.
Really?
On stage he went, oh, and fainted. And then they took him off. Absolutely.
I wish I'd done that.
I might pretend to faint before the end of this show.
Well, don't.
No, I'm all right.
But, I mean, they would be throwing bottles in the balcony.
Oh, you're making me homesick now. Yeah. No, do you go back over to England a lot?
I do.
A lot of time over there?
More than people know. 2 or 3 times a year if I can.
Right.
Yeah.
But your home is in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
And you've lived here for quite some time now,
I've lived here now, oh gosh, 40-something years, I guess.
It's changed a bit, LA, hasn't it, I think?
It keeps getting more and more crowded and busy, and
also, what do you think? Because you were a star very, very young. Yeah. When you did Mary Poppins, you must have been really early 20s.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, and the kids that were becoming famous now, they're all kind of making sex tapes. And are there any tapes around? That's what I'm saying. Are there any tapes around?
Of Mary Poppins.
I'll take anything.
Sadly, no, because, I mean, that would keep one forever in front of the public, I think, if one had done that. But there's a very nasty film audition that I did, which was so awful that if it ever came out, I might never have worked in this town again.
Let's get hold of that, will we?
I knew you'd go.
No, of course, no, I wouldn't do it. Do you think? I mean, it's very different now. With I mean, we were talking earlier on about the studio system, which you would have just clipped the tail end of it, right?
Right.
They used to protect and hide the stars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you think
actually, the thing that I really clipped the end of was vaudeville in England, because that was dying as I was touring around and around and around. That was really the end days of music hall in England, and television came in.
I think it's back a little bit, though.
Do you?
Yes, I do. I think in a slightly different way. I think on the internet, I think the things like the YouTubes and the people making little videos and little films and stuff.
Well, that's true.
It's kind of, there is a kind
of... Except you can't get the kind of experience, you can't practice the way you used to.
Yeah, that's true. And the thing is, you can't get it... The minute you do it, it's out there.
It's out there, and it's for everybody to see.
I know,
if you make a mistake or whatever.
I know, that's why I feel about this thing.
Yeah. I don't think you have to worry.
No, I don't. Listen, I can't wait to get into this a little more. I'm so happy to finally get you on the show. Will you come back and visit us very soon?
I'd love to.
Thank you very much.
I'm a huge fan.
Right back at you, lady. Right back at you.
Thank you.
Lovely Julie Andrews, everyone.